Hi guys, today you are going to be doing a PowerPoint on physical and chemical changes, and we are going to do it by me recording it with you. So, here is physical and chemical changes. All right, so I want you to think about, we talked about physical properties yesterday, right? We talked about, or the other day, we did physical properties um, and what it, even if I rip a piece of paper up, it's still the same. Okay, but today we're going to talk about those actual changes in the physical. We're going to talk about those physical changes and those chemical changes that you do to a substance. So let's go on. So matter has properties. We've talked about this. We've talked about and said matter does have properties. So the two basic types of properties that we can associate with matter are physical properties, which we talked about the other day when we did our mystery solutions activity, and then there's chemical properties. So matter, matter is everywhere. Okay, matter is all around you. It is the desk you're sitting on. It is the air you breathe. You might see it, you might not. Matter is anything that takes up space and has mass. Matter is constantly experiencing both chemical and physical changes. Physical changes. So, we talked about physical properties the other day, right? Texture, shape, size, color, volume, mass, weight, and density. Those are all properties. But physical changes occur when matter changes its property, but not its chemical nature. Solutions. We talked about solutions. We did a whole lab the other day on solutions. Solutions are an example of a physical change, boys and girls. A physical change because your two properties that you're making and putting in this solution, they are staying the same. Okay? A solution is a type of mixture that looks the same throughout. Think of Kool-Aid. Okay? Kool-Aid is going to be that color that's going to dissolve in the water. The solvent is the substance that dissolves another. We talked about that the other day. We talked about how the water and the vinegar was the solvent because it dissolved the materials, the solids that we put in it. The solute is the substance being dissolved. Remember, we put the powders in the water, we put the sand in the water. Most of them dissolved. The only one that did not was sand. So that's called that will not dissolve. Example, water for a solvent. And Kool-Aid powder is an example of a solute. So here's some examples of physical changes. Physical changes do have examples. So we have boiling water, okay, because then we're changing water, a liquid, and once we boil it, we're going to change it into a gas because you're going to have water vapor. Freezing, when you change the liquid to a solid. Think of water again. Water, when it freezes, it's changing to a solid. Then dissolving, the powders we did the other day when we dissolved. Okay, they dissolved and went through through the liquids. Breaking, ripping, it's still the same thing. Okay, think of a piece of paper. Think of glass. When you break glass, is it still glass? If you shake your head yes, like I should see you shaking your head yes, it is still glass. Making a mixture. Think of trail mix. Trail mix is a mixture. Two or more types of matter, substances mixed together. When you put trail mix together, you have all kinds. You have nuts, you have chocolate, you have dried fruits, you have all kinds of things. But it doesn't have to be in a specific amount, and they can be separated physically. A mixture is different than a solution because you can mix it, you can separate it physically. Now, here we got chemical changes. Chemical changes are changes matter undergoes when it becomes new or different. Okay? A chemical changes is when you have something that's new or different. You're going to identify a chemical change looking for such signs as color change. If the change is going to change its color, bubbling and fizzing. Oh, we had fizzing the other day. In our lab. What was fizzing the other day? You know what? I wonder if adding baking soda to vinegar is a chemical change. Light production, smoke. and persistence of heat. Those are all chemical changes. Evidence of a chemical change. Okay, so there's always going to be evidence of a chemical change. The formation of a gas. Okay, now boys and girls, this is not the change. Like this is not. Remember we talked about physical changes, liquid changing to a gas. But we can take that gas and change it back to the same liquid. Okay, this is different. The formation of gas is when you are going to change that substance and it's going to be a gas and it's going to stay a gas. It's not going to come back to the original substance. Formation of precipitates. Okay, a precipitate's usually when you're making a precipitate, it's going to be something left over, like a burning. Something after you burn, there's something left over from a burn. Think of burning paper. What's left over when you burn paper? What's left over when you burn wood? That's a precipitate. Change in color, okay? Change in energy. We have endothermic and exothermic, okay? Endothermic absorbs heat, it gets cold. Exothermic release heat, it gets hot. Chemical changes. The composition of the substance change. The substance presents at the beginning of the change are not presented at the end. New substance are formed. The changes cannot be undone. You can't change it, okay? You can't change it. Hydrogen and oxygen molecules combine to form water, okay? You can't change that change. Once you form a hydrogen, once oxygen comes together and they make water, you can't break that bond apart. So, is this a chemical or physical change? Sugar dissolving into tea. Which one is it? Sugar dissolving in tea. It better be a physical change. Oh, that doesn't work. Sorry, guys. All right, so it is a physical change, okay? It is a physical change. Physical change, correct. Next. Is it a chemical or physical change? Logs burning. It is a chemical change. We are correct. Is it a chemical or physical change? Breaking water up by separating it into hydrogen and oxygen. Ooh, so we're going to be breaking up something. This is going to be a chemical change. Remember we talked about when hydrogen and oxygen come together to form water? You can't, yeah. Correct. Chemical change. You can't break up the bonds, and if you do, it's going to be something different. Is it a chemical or physical change? Cutting paper. That is a physical change. We are correct. Woohoo, go us. Is it a chemical or physical change? Crushing an aspirin. This is different. Now, we're just breaking it apart, guys. So what is it? It is physical change. We are correct. Is it a chemical or physical change? Metal rusting. Boys and girls, when metal rusts, you can't get that metal back again. So this is a chemical change. Rusting is a chemical change. Chemical change. Yay, we're correct. Is it a chemical or physical change? Lighter fluid burning. Key word here, burning. Burning is always a chemical change. Chemical change, we are correct. Is it a chemical or physical change? An egg rotting. Rotting. Can you get the egg back? Think about that. Can the egg go back to being a normal egg? No, it can't. So it is going to be a chemical change. We are correct. Is it a chemical or physical change? An egg breaking. Ooh, is it still an egg if it's broken? Is it? Yes, it is. It's a physical change. Physical change, correct. Okay, so here is your last part of your notes. You got a writing activity. You're going to write a paragraph about the difference between a chemical and physical change. Give examples of each. All right, boys and girls, that is all of the notes for today. You are able to go and do your writing activity. You can pause this right here so you'll be able to see this on the screen the entire time, because if it closes out, if you stop the recording, you'll have to go back to this part so you'll be able to see this. So your writing activity is you're writing a paragraph about the difference between chemical and physical changes. Give examples. Boys and girls, you just have a ton of examples that we just went over in your notes. So you should be able to write at least 5 to 7 paragraphs or 5 to 7 lines